This is Adam Gorney, Rivals.com signing day show, continuing here with Virginia Tech coach Brent Pry. And Brent, let's start at quarterback for your class, Davi Belfor. What does he bring to this class? And are you afraid a little bit of his father if you don't play him, power slamming you into the ground?
I tell you what, his dad and mom are outstanding.
Yeah.
And, one of my treats was the home visit to Davi's place. His dad has a showcase of memorabilia, photos, trophies. I mean, his story's unbelievable, and I think Davi's will too. Davi has a ton of intangibles.
Yeah.
He is elite in that area. I always look for an elite quality, right? There's guys that can have, a pretty good skill set in a lot of areas. But if they're not elite in something, I'm not sure that they can get you where you want to go to win a championship. And Davi's elite in that area. He's got a quick release. He's dual threat in every stretch of the way. I mean, he's a special guy in a lot of ways. I mean, I've been around too many guys that maybe off an inch or two that are highly successful at the college level. Trace McSorley. We won a 10 of games at Penn State with Trace. And honestly, Davi, reminds me quite a bit of Trace.
Is that such an overrated quality in today's college football game that you have to be 6'4", that you have to have these qualities? Or is it really the guys that just want to go out and lead and win and are selfless?
Yeah, I think that those traits are underrated. They're very important here to us. We just signed 15 and 13 of them were captains of their football team. Last year, 23 of 26. I mean, the maturity that we can put on the field is going to give us the best chance to win. We're going to sign talented enough players.
Yeah.
It's my goal and my belief, if 1 through 125 in our roster reach all of their potential and then some, we're going to be a damn good football team. And to do that, they got to have certain traits to feel like they're going to reach their potential with good coaching and good mentorship.
Let's talk about two in-state four-star receivers, big guys, physical, Keelan Adams and Chance Wiggins. Is that what you're looking for in your receivers, or did you just kind of want those guys on the outside like that they just fit what you're looking for?
Yeah, I think they're a complement to one another, to be honest.
Yeah.
Chance is going to be an avatar. His frame is special. It's elite. His maturity is elite. He's got good ball skills. He's physical. Keelan is long and can get skinny, man. That's elite. Those guys that have length and can get thin and make you miss and hit a small space and make something of it. He's got really good ball skills. I'm excited about both those guys. I think they'll complement each other very well over the next couple of years.
Seemed like you really loaded up at defensive end. Was that a real focus going into this class, or did it just kind of fall that way that you got some guys on the line there that can be difference makers for you?
Yeah, you always want to sign good young defensive linemen, give them a chance to develop. I think Gerard Johnson is a true swing guy. He's got a great frame. He's 6'4", 250, but may easily grow into an inside guy. Derek Dandy has natural pass rush ability. He can run, he can bend. And I think Emmett Laws is a disruption. He did it in a very competitive league, week in and week out. Tackle for losses, sacks, batted balls. I mean, he was a problem for every offensive line he faced. And then Andrew Hanchuk, a young man I think is probably the most underrated in our class, 6'4", 260 right now, going to be 300, has a motor and can run and is tough as nails. Strike you. Those guys are a problem inside. And so I'm excited about all those guys.
As a defensive guy, let's talk about Laws a little bit. Any hesitation on undersized interior guys, or do you kind of like that activity that he can kind of slide and get small and be tough to block?
Yeah, we've had some over the years. I do think it equates a little bit better in our league.
Yeah.
The offensive lines aren't quite as big. They're not the true size guys. They're talented and good hands and good feet, but not quite as big where you may get lost, with an undersized guy. And then with our scheme, our structure, we're 40% pressure. We're moving those guys a ton. That's a really good quality, important quality for us in what we do.
we can't talk recruiting without talking portal, whether good or bad, or just the reality of the world. And you weren't incredibly active in it, but kind of piecemealing together. What's kind of the philosophy there? And especially as you try to build a culture and you talk about that, from the ground up with high school guys.
Yeah, well, first of all, that's how we want to do this. That's what's right for Virginia Tech. That's what I believe in. There's too many good high school players in this state and in this footprint. If we invest there and we build on the backs of really talented high school players, I think that's what the ticket is, the recipe is for Virginia Tech. We're going to go to the transfer portal for immediate needs.
Yeah.
And I thought we've done that each of the last 2 years. 7 of the 8 from last year that we signed from the portal impacted our team on Saturdays. I think, you'll see with the 4 that we've taken this year, they were at very important positions where we lost some guys or weren't consistent enough, really going to help us there. But, to me, we had a tremendous, we were very fortunate to have a bunch of our players decide to come back and play another year with us. And when that happened, that's awesome and it's great, but it also takes your scholarship numbers and shrinks them.
Yeah.
I'd love to sign 20 high school football players every year. That's the plan. But it just so happens on this cycle, we were able to retain a lot of guys, and it kept us, we had to put the brakes on the high school recruitment several weeks ago when things started to fall into place.
Again, that is Brent Pry, Virginia Tech's coach. Brent, thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate what you do, Adam. Happy holidays, man.